four arms in the business itself. And of course, everyone knows us as a will writing company. But the difference is that we own, compared to other, whether it's legal firms or other estate planning companies, the core difference is that we hold a trust license, right? And compared to other trust company, we are different in the sense that we actually do will writing. And we like to believe that we are really good at it. Good at what? Good at taking care of families, because we have written 12,000 wills, and we consider ourselves as a company that really knows how the dynamics of families are, how they can distribute their wealth in a very systematic and purposeful way. So as a trust company itself, of course, we are licensed with MAS. So in a sense that the regime are also as tightly regulated as a financial advisory. We already have 2 billion assets under trust. So a lot of people ask, oh, your trust company, how long it will last and so on and so forth. Oh, we have 2 billion assets under trust. And we have thousands of executorship appointment. That means once the client passes on, their assets will be handled by us for the next 10, 15, 20, or even 3 generations. Yes, yeah. And of course, one of the key components of our business is that we have a Precepts Academy that actually conduct a lot of courses. So the key difference between us is that we don't just do the business. We like to train people like you to actually do the business, grow the business, and use estate planning as part of your financial advisory business. So we are not here to just show people that we are experts. We are here to make people, make financial advisors like you become an expert as well, right? Other than this month's event itself, we have an upcoming bigger event in September. And take note that this event is targeted at public, but financial advisors, you feel free to attend, as well as also refer your clients to this event itself. This is CPF and retirement. We have been holding estate planning forum, the public event. This is our 3rd edition. Courses you can learn about estate planning from PreceptsGroup. Yeah, we have a whole suite of IBF approved courses as well. Right, let's start with the panel speaking today. Okay, so I'd like to invite the 3 wonderful ladies to just say hi. Right, first of all, you have Jovin. You want to wave your wave?
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, that's Jovin. And then next we have Jolene. Okay.
Hello everyone. Nice to meet all of you here today. Good power, energy.
Energy, yeah, on a very nice wet morning. And we have Laura. Okay.
Hi everybody. Nice to see all of you here this morning.
Yeah, we didn't coordinate to wear white. And now it looks like a National Day color, red and white. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's start with today's session itself. We have Jovin. Just a quick introduction of Jovin. Jovin has been in financial planning advisory for 20 years, right? And actually, I understand that this year she's also involved in the MDRT Day group, right? Yeah. Since joining the organizing committee, since joining the business itself, Jovin has consecutively qualified for not only a lifetime MDRT, but also have attained the prestigious honor roll. Okay, that means more than 15 years. And she actually has achieved 16 years of MDRT, and then COT in 2019, and TOT last year. So at the present moment, up to July, she's already qualified for COT. Okay, so I will start with the question first for Jovin. Can you tell us how you got to know about estate planning and how do you get started?
First took up AETP in 2008, but I never had the chance to practice and apply till something happened to my family in 2017. So I still remember the family conflict which happened right after Chinese New Year. It was some misunderstandings among my relatives about a property that my mom inherited from my grandfather's will in 1999. So at that time I was filled with disappointment as my parents were accused of things that they did not do. So I wanted to clear their name, and it took me a total of 6 months to actually gather all the facts and documents, which thankfully my parents kept them all. So in December 2017, I retook my AEPP, and I want to really take the opportunity to thank a few special friends for pointing me to the right direction when I was looking to transit companies. First one, Alan Wong, who is my AEPP lecturer. Thank you. Delia Wong and Fuji Yo, who are my fellow friends in the industry. So if you are here among the audience today, I would really want to express my gratitude and sincere thank you for pulling me up during my lowest points in my career. And so above family incident, right, actually led me to choose growth over comfort. I choose to learn how to fish instead of expecting the fish to be given to me. And I even went to the extent of changing company to be with a group which embraces and advocates estate planning. So this has not only made me more referable, but has also resulted in bigger cases. In the past, I was doing an average of about between perhaps 80 to about 150 cases to clear MDRT. Last year, I did 85 cases to clear for top of table. And this year, I have already cleared for court of table with just 38 cases. So you can see that the potential and opportunities here on estate planning is huge. And this growth has led to satisfaction in my work and eventually more time for family also. So unlike in the past, I hardly now go for appointments on weekends now. So it is really not about just working hard, but also about working smart too.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting journey where you actually use estate planning to grow your case size, right? What you mean is that the case size has went up a lot using estate planning. That's a great sharing. Okay, then we'll let's introduce Jolene a bit. Jolene, the one with the headset. She has been our estate planner also since 2017, and she has actually achieved consecutively 3 years of executive club membership honors, and we call it honors because it's really 3 years. Executive club in PreceptsGroup is actually a recognition for our top 15 estate planners, and she has, of course, because of as part of the business, she has already closed numerous wills and trust case here. So Jolene, as a current top estate planner, right, what were your challenges when you first started estate planning?
Well, like any one of you, I was sotong, practically sotong when I started this estate planning journey. When I do a sharing, I mean, this is not my first time I do this kind of platform sharing. I do share with a group of others, financial advisory, and some of them, they say, "Aya, Jolene, you're so good already. Whatever client give the objection to you, you can handle." I say, my friend, I'm not born to be good, honestly. Everybody starts from zero. All right. T. Harv Eker always say, a master was once a disaster. We agree? If you agree, put one. Put one in the chat box, please. So after completing the basic training from this Precept, Rockville, that time was called Rockville back in 2017. For the 6 months, I don't even dare to talk about it because it's too technical and it involves legals. I also had that fear. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the only way to get rid of your fear is to do the thing you fear most. Let me convert that fear to this acronym. In the first part, when I start talking to my client about this subject matter, I always tend to gear towards the technicality parts. Hey, this is important, you should do this. Client don't want to be told, they want to be sold. The only way to be sold is this. You have to pitch to their pain point. So fear, to me, I come up with the acronym. Fear is F. You first must have a basic understanding of your customer background, family dynamic. Alright? Then, before you talk about anything, talk about their first. But know their family dynamic, know their concern, know what is their background. For instance, they have children who doesn't get along, they always quarrel. Then that is the pain point, right? Secondly, A is assets distribution. Know what your client had, right? Roughly their status, their net worth. I'm sure you have all this information with you. Okay. E is about FEA. E is estate distribution, right? A is their assets. What are the assets they have? Do they have local assets? Do they have overseas assets? What kind of assets? You know, that triggers the desire to keep it, or a fear of losing it, right? R is the resources. What is the resources if they are not around for their loved ones? So you focus on these 4 points, you will be very good. You can gear your angles towards the soft parts of the conversation and not the hard facts about the conversation. Yeah, thank you.
Jolene, straight away we start with an acronym so that for you all to actually understand how to overcome the initial part of the challenges that you may face if you want to take out estate planning. Next, we also have a little bit of sharing from Laura. Laura is MDRT 17 times and is qualified as a lifetime MDRT, and as well, of course, honors roll is a very prestigious achievement. Then she break through with a COT last year. Right, many of you may have known Laura because she served as an MDRT Day chairperson, if I get it right. Right, okay. And then her story is slightly different. She started estate planning, then after that drifted out, and later she can tell a little bit more. But today her sharing is will be more about how she actually now restarting the estate planning beginner's journey a little bit more, right? So Laura, with your success in your financial planning business, right? You are already very successful in your financial planning business. But so what prompted you to actually get started on estate planning,
Hi everyone. Thanks for the introduction, Heng. I think for some of you may not know, I've been, of course, in this line for as long as Jovin. We joined the same year. So this is my 19th year. So actually in the first few years of my career, I started to explore estate planning. I did my AEPP course in, I think, 2008. And then after that, I actually became a Rock Wheels rep. At the time, they call it Rock Wheels estate planner. And my whole objective was because I saw the need of doing estate planning, and people were talking about it, and it was actually a very interesting topic. So I started off my license with Rock Wheels. Probably here among three of us, I'm the longest in terms of membership, right? But for quite a while, I was mainly just doing a small handful of wills because my clients asked me, and I told them, okay, I can do it. But I wasn't very active because, like what Jolene also shared, there were some fears, and it seemed like quite a steep learning curve. And then it was only in 2018 I decided that I wanted to deepen my knowledge. AEPP was a great course, but because having such a long space in between, right, I wanted to refresh myself. So I went to sign up for Sept as an affiliate member. So Sept stands for Society of Trusts and Estate Planners. It's a UK association, and it took me, I think, I can't remember how many weeks, maybe 5 to 6 months of weekly classes. I learned from the top estate planners, I learned from lawyers, and I actually did a certification. At the end of it was an exam. And then after actually that whole period of time when I learned about estate planning, it was really an eye-opener because we did case studies, and suddenly a lot of things just came out so real. And after that, every time I met a client, right, I started to see estate planning gaps when I was talking to them. So it came out so naturally, and I started asking them, do you know that this is what will happen because you don't have a will? Do you know that this is what happened because you don't have a trust? And everything just started coming out. And then from that time onwards, I felt there was a renewed sense of excitement when I talked to clients, and it helped me I felt that it was going to be helpful for me to engage in deeper conversations with my higher net worth clients. And so that was really why I really wanted to use this as a strategy to move upwards. And later I probably will share, it has definitely helped me because, like Jovin, I'm also a mother of 2, and my kids are young, and I really want to spend more time with them. And I'm thankful to say that, over the years, not just through estate planning, but intentionally wanting to meet higher net worth individuals, able to solve bigger problems, deeper issues, it has helped me to retain my higher net worth clients, get more referable, and also be more time efficient. I spend more productive time and I'm able to work smarter. So that's probably one of the main reasons. I think estate planning makes me more valuable in the eyes of my clients, and I can solve deeper issues. I can see beyond what just normal financial planning is all about. Yeah, so that's my story.
I see. So in terms of the parts that you really enjoy about estate planning is this components of deeper conversations with the clients, right?
Definitely. So one example I'll share is, just a few months ago, I was talking to a young client, and she was just telling me about, I was asking her about whether she's done her will. She's a single, about 40-ish, not married. And we were talking about conversation, and she was telling me about how her parents, right, were actually made executors of her auntie's estate. So I think about maybe 5 to 10 years ago, the auntie passed away, and in her will, she actually appointed my client's parents, who are now about 70, as the executors. So the long story short is that my client was just talking to me about it. I mean, the fact that I could actually engage in a conversation because of my background, of my knowledge, it really helped me to talk to her at a deeper level. And she was sharing that because of the not thought out properly will, her parents were being sued by her cousins, her family members, and in a very similar light, like Jovin shared, right, it really messed up the whole family's dynamics. And because of that one wrong mistake that was made in the will and appointing, her sisters and her sister and her brother-in-law as the executor, the whole family split up. And now her father, my client's father, has passed away, but my client's mother is still going through court proceedings to be sued by her family members. So I felt that, not that I can help at this point of time, but the whole conversation reached a very different level. And I was advising her, I said, do you know that your parents could actually reject the appointment as an executor? And she said, nobody told us about it. And by the time they knew about it, even the lawyer that they engaged, right, did not even tell them. So by the time they knew about it, that time frame had gone past. So when I was able to engage in that conversation, I just felt that at a deeper level, I can communicate with my clients. I'm able to understand their problems, and I'm able to see things beyond, maybe what a normal financial advisor might be able to. So those are the things that I really enjoy, talking to clients, not just about, investments, insurance, but going deeper, finding out more about their family, and they're opening up to me at a different level. Yeah.
I think the conversations are more intellectually stimulating, so which allows me to engage in deeper conversation with clients. And also estate planning also gives me the confidence as well as the competence whereby I can solve complex problems for clients. So these are things that I thoroughly enjoy. Like for example, I have this client, he's a Singaporean and he owns only a HDB in Singapore. But in Malaysia, he owns 10 Malaysian properties. And he bought all these properties together with his friends, right? During the 21-3, where there was a Malaysia property frenzy, everybody were buying it. So now, since 3 years ago, he has attempted to sell away the properties, but he couldn't. And then later on, COVID came. Rental was way below what he expected. He has problems selling. So before we sat down to do the will, he wanted to solve all these problems because it's really very messy. All the properties, right, are all jointly owned with friends. There is no one single property, right, that it is so owned. So he's worried about, of course, bankruptcy. He also worried about what happens in the event of his demise. Because at the end of the day, he doesn't want the wife to he doesn't want to leave the wife bankrupt. Let's just put it that way. So I was able to solve the problem for him. We basically did a few structures like a term, did an assignment, and he was really very relieved. And so actually knowledge in estate planning also helps to change the client's perspective of me. So initial stage, it was just looking at the will, right, and how to solve his problem. Then later on, we discovered that actually both husband and wife, they never really shared about their financial information. So that's where they discovered that actually the wife, right, has a substantial amount of savings, which later on lead to me to advise them on the distributions on their investment as well. And then following that, I think this really gave me a competitive advantage over other advisors who may not have this kind of competence in this area. So in the current platform and company that I'm in, they also see me as someone who is more neutral. Yeah.
Enjoy our sharing right now. Can you just do a CCC? And I would like it to be a more participative sessions, which is more interactive. And may I request you to on your video so that we can interact with you, and that give us the energy and power to share more. How about that? Let's not make this a dull session. Let's make this a fun session. All right. This is not a one-way pitching kind of thing. We are here to help you to overcome your hurdle. We are here to help you overcome your roadblocks, to make it more better for everyone. It's a teamwork. Together, everyone achieve more. I don't want it to be a one-way kind of communication. I want it to be interactive. Can you please do us this favor? You know, online, offline.
I was hoping to see a video. Behind the video, got like 10 advisors. They're having an agency meeting. Then everyone is listening. I tell you, as per now, we already have about 200 people. And it has been a very difficult 2 years for all of us. And I think this is, other than MTRD Day, this is really a very different platform for all of you to get together and learn, and also do a bit of sharing as well. And of course, now Singapore is now at I would say the next phase of, now we have been seeing the sea for the wrong reason. As you can see, that Jolene is
crap, okay? Crap means
give yourself
a pat on the back for being here today and spend time here. I want you to have a takeaway for this 1 hour or more session you are with here. The only way for you to take away is to interact with us, participate with us as more as you could. Alright, guys? This is not a one-time, one-man show, no? It's an all-man show. And you know, online... Hey, listen. Online, offline presentation is very different. Online, we are lonely solo. We here talking to 4 walls. You must have interaction with us, then we have more energy. Offline is different. No, I can see your reaction. I can interact with me. So it's very different, guys. Come on, please give us your energy. We need your blessing also, All right, come. Let's go. Everybody on the video. That's good sign.
Jolene has not just tell us how she enjoy estate planning. She is showing us how she enjoying.
Yeah, you must enjoy your journey. If not, it's very tough. It is very tough to go through this journey. I understand how steep learning curve is this. I will share with you as much as I could how I overcome it. Okay, guys? I'm just like you, ordinary Xiao Pai. Xiao Pai means very green one in this estate planning. I'm the only join in 21/7. How I can break through and consecutively be on the top with precepts, I will share with you. No secret one. If you're willing to learn, I'm willing to share. Fair enough. Say thumbs up. Thank you. Regardless of your age, everyone can master this skill if you have the heart for it. You must have the heart for it. Okay, Ken, give me your question.
So my question is, how do you enjoy estate planning? You are demonstrating, it's really like, for me, the C actually reminds me, it's community. We are actually really much a community. All you are from, 3 of you are actually from different financial advisory. And I was a long time washed out financial advisor. Then right, okay, so maybe you want to share about 1 or 2 stories you have that makes you enjoy this
how I start my journey, is it? How I start
how you enjoy estate planning.
Okay, guys, how I start my estate journey. My experience in estate planning comes when my first time I attended MDRT in 2016. That time was Vancouver. My first time, alright? So when I was there, I'm alone, in my company. Actually, nobody want to go for this kind of event one. I siao one in my company. I'm the one of crazy one, always go for this kind of event. And furthermore, my company paid everything for it for first time. Why not? Sayang, right? So I go alone. Never mind. But my mentor tell me this: when you go alone, it's okay. You sit with those people very senior, a lot batch one, then you steal the secret from them how they do it. In my first year as MDR, 我做得很辛苦，真的很辛苦. Is that Jovin said I need 150 cases and more to achieve my MDRT. 笑啊, really 笑, do until 没米没节啦, no day no night. Only the last day still running for it. So I tell yourself, there must be a better way. There must be a better way. So I went there, I talked to these people. Hey, how you manage to year by year so 轻松 qualify MDRT, then you do so little cases, how you do it? You know, the business just come to them, you know, they don't have to hunt for it one. And I realized one thing, a lot of time, the MDRT conference there, they're sharing about everything, a lot on estate planning workshop, rather than sales gap and all this. So I realized something is significant. So I talked to a lot of those senior people, either they are doing succession planning, business succession, or family estate planning, that kind of thing, you know. So I know, yeah, maybe this is the secret I must master when I come back. So when I came back, I really took a while for me to tune what is my direction in my insurance career to be. I don't want to be 10 years, 20 years later, I still feel very tired of doing this business, you know. I mean, you feel the same, right, darling? Everyone, you like, you know, why customer like see us like 求他们 not the other way around, that they appreciate you, right? Correct. We have to chase them, not they chase us, you know. So I tell myself, I want to reposition myself to be someone else that they look upon. That is my goal. So when I come back, I search, I Google, what is estate planning? Where can I get the courses and attend? All right. However, to be honest with you, there is some courses that I take up in the industry. I find it's very technical. Instead of motivating me to go and pursue it, you hold me back. Walao, so technical, I don't know how to say it. But finally, I don't know, it's the law of attraction, okay? I saw from this Facebook event that this Malaysian REP called Elite Venture, they actually hold a preview in JB. And I see their copywriting and all this is really to my heart, you know, how it's being formed. So I alone know same thing. I signed up the preview. I went from Singapore to JB to attend the preview, you know, alone. This is the first time I dare to do this. But because my desire is so great, I don't care. And also that time 2017 is Hari Raya Eve, you know. Can you imagine the jam that I have to go through? But I still go. I wake up early in the morning, 5 a.m. and I make my journey there. I reach there at 9 a.m. You see the desire that I have. It is from there I sign up the course with Elite Venture to start off my estate planning journey. And I tell you, don't underestimate this Malaysia REP. They are the best breeds in doing estate planning. Their experience is much better than us because of the government different they have. They are very independent. They need this part more than Singaporeans. Singaporean I find is too complacent. Everything's like government done for this already. Why should I do this? You have come across this kind of people, right? Yeah. So after I learn from them, that's where I get to know Rockville. Then I know Precept, and I start my journey from here. And I slowly, of course, I still have fear. I have clients that tell me, bombard me. I don't know how to answer, but never mind. I learn. It's a learning curve, guys. It's a learning curve. If you don't take down all these objections that you have, you come back and check or seek advice from this experienced people here, whether it's a trust department, whether it's a will department. Talk to someone who are very senior. You have Johan, you have Mr. Tay. They're all very friendly people. All the top executive planner people are very good community, right? So talk to them. Hey, I have this issue. If you were me, how you handle? This is how I learned along the way, step by step. You know, you collect all your ace cards underneath your sleeve already. Then you get stronger, right? So success and mastery is not overnight. It's over time. Just dare to take your footstep out one step, okay? One step at a time, you will be there. You will be there, okay? Don't worry. Yeah, that's how I start my...
Thank you, Jolene. Yeah, thanks for sharing one of my motto as well. Learning is not mastering. We are here to master something, right? So, but master means require you put in that really a lot of effort to do that. Then that's one of the key points that I think a lot of people are actually going to really want to find out is that now they are saying, wow, okay, estate planning very, very important. Okay, part of financial advisory, but how does estate planning lead to insurance sales?
Yeah, so when I started on doing more estate planning, when I actually involve it, I incorporate it in my presentation to my clients. then I start to discover, like I shared earlier, right, there are problem areas which I start to highlight to clients. So just one example would be recently this year, I had a client who has been with me for many years, and we were doing the normal review, and we were just having a conversation, and she did mention to me that, because now her health has not been so good recently, so for her to add on critical illnesses plans is a little bit more difficult. She actually got declined. So we were talking about her assets, and she actually is a very good saver, and she has probably net worth of maybe $5 to $6 million. And with me, she already had insurance of about maybe $2 million already. So I was having a conversation. We were talking about the family. She has 2 young children, and her husband recently, not working. So she was just sharing with me through the conversations that if anything happens to her, we were talking about what would she be providing for the family, and she said, oh yeah, I've got my property, I've got my insurance. And then I asked her, so your property is in joint name, right? I said that you're aware, right, that if anything happens to you, this property will not go to your children. And then we talked about her family concerns, and her marriage was not, I won't say it's really bad, but it was not in the best, it's not in the best shape. And she did acknowledge that this property that she actually bought with the husband, she has been the one who has been paying for almost everything, and this is a $3 million property. So during the conversation, I was telling her, would you like to leave a bit more for your children, because right now what you have, your insurance policies, your endowments, your investments, if you were to retire, and she wants to retire in the next 5 years, I said, would you want to make sure that they have sufficient if you're not around? Because this house, right, it's not going to go to them. And the house really forms like more than half of her net worth. So we were having a conversation, and later on, I guess long and short of it was that I managed to tell her that, okay, you need to make sure that you put something in place for your children. And after calculating, I managed to put in place a trust for her. Okay, for those who may not be familiar, a trust is where to pay out, because if she passes on, I calculated her net worth even after lessing off the property, right, it was about $4 to $5 million already. And I said, do you want your kids to get this $4 to $5 million when they're 21? Right? And that is an issue that I bring up to a lot of my clients these days with young children, because they don't realize. They said, oh yeah, I just leave it to my children. I write a will, I put to my children. I said, hey, 21 years old, I don't know what you're doing, man. At 21, I can't handle a few $1 million, right? So in the end, when I did present to her, we did up a will, and not just a will, I put in place a trust for her so that she can tell that, she can actually put in place money that is being distributed to the children at different stages of their lives, right? Making sure that they have enough money for education, but not the full $4-5 million to be split between the kids at 21. So on top of that, after I went through all the figures, she also realized, I showed her that you actually don't really have enough to provide for the kids, because she wanted to send them overseas, and at the same time she wants to make sure that her mother has enough. So I managed to, after doing the trust and will, I managed to actually sell her a policy that is a single premium coverage to add on another $2 million of death coverage. Okay, so of course that was that helped me in terms of building my portfolio, even for my insurance sales. So that got me, for this year, that got me halfway to MDRT just for one case. So I think in terms of talking to clients, sometimes it's really just conversation, getting interested in their lives and helping them to identify problem areas that they may not see. And from there, somehow or other, there'll be opportunities that arise. How are you going to solve this problem? And we all know that when it comes to legacy planning, insurance is one of the best assets. Yeah, so that is my one of the cases that I did this year.
I was also the 小白. I used to do more on insurance planning, more insurance planning focus, less on investment, and I don't really know how to apply estate planning. And as such, I find it very difficult to break through to the high net worth market, because they see me as just an insurance advisor, right? So when doing estate planning, clients are more willing to review certain facts with you. Take for example, I was referred to this client who initially only wanted to do a will. Then through asking a series of right questions, right, I got to understand that this single lady, she's planning for retirement. But the most alarming part comes when she started sharing how she has been passing money to this friend of hers to invest for her. Okay, so through me asking her all these questions, right, then she realized that actually passing money and getting her friend to invest for her, right, it may not be the best solution, which then opened up a case for doing investment for her retirement. So as I got more competent, I was also able to plan deeper with the clients, which led to bigger cases. For that case, right, I asked her just a few questions, and after that, I can see that she's quite worried already. I asked, what's the rate of return your friends has been generating for you? And then, of course, I don't ask all like that lah. It's a series of conversation, emotional discovery, then I add in the question. So please don't follow exactly what I say. Later you will break your case, okay? So it's about techniques also, okay? So, but some of the questions will be, in the event of your friend's sudden demise, are there anyone else in your family that is actually aware about this private arrangement with her? And then, was there any form of document or declaration being done or being signed? So what happens if your friend goes bankrupt? Can the creditors also go after this share of money that she's been keeping for you? So all these series of questions, right, are actually good questions, which triggers her to really start thinking a lot deeper. Yeah. So now the three of us, Xiao Bai, becomes better now lah. So I'm sure all of us can do it. If we can do it, so can all of you here.
Just a few weeks ago, estate planner also brought me to see a 50 million net worth client. Actually, regularly we get to see those kind of clients now. So that is actually the next question I actually wanted to ask you all is that, so what kind of profile of the clients do you all see? You know, is it like singles or, you know, other than the fact that high net worth, you know, is a bit big. Jovin?
I think apart from the regular kind of profiles, there are other target groups that you can actually look at. For example, maybe just to give you some ideas, like the LGBTQ group. I think they are the group that is forgotten. I mean, in the arena of estate planning, because the Indian state law doesn't protect them. They have to get married overseas. You know, the law here doesn't protect them. People planning for divorce, people who suddenly, maybe perhaps they receive an inheritance or they strike 4D, or perhaps they had a windfall because of cryptocurrency also, right? Then high net worth clients, of course. Now, when we talk about high net worth clients, just to have the understanding, MAS guidelines, we follow the MAS guideline, okay? So that you all won't think that high net worth client must be 10 million, 20 million, 30 million and above. Okay, of course, if we have that space of clients, then it's good. Okay, but generally what I will qualify as higher net worth clients, right, will mean that at least minimally their annual income is like 300K a year. That will already have qualified for under the accredited investor, right? And with an investable assets of 1 million. And then of course the ultra high net worth clients, you're looking at 30 million, 50 million, 100 million and above. Okay, so I also want to encourage everybody that when I first initially started off, I was doing Army, Navy and Air Force seminar talks back then many years ago. So I started with a group with all these upping girls, you know. They are not even working. Okay, so I can say that I have 100% of these clients, but none of these clients I can really build or tap on, very little. That's why my cases have to be more. In fact, my initial year is not 150 cases. I did more than 250 cases to reach my MDRT on the first year. Okay, so of course over time, right, the ratio went down to 95% mass affluent to 5% the higher net worth states. Then now, because of more referrals coming in, it's about 80%, 20%, 80-20. So the 20% are the ones, right, that will give you really the big ticket items. And if you are lucky, the cases come, it will really mean a very big difference of you will have that breakthrough. Okay, of course, sometimes, right, we also have to be realistic. Don't keep chasing after the unicorns. You don't forget your bread and butter, because sometimes I also notice some advisors, they get so carried away with must do estate planning, everything must be estate planning. They ended up, right, they neglected what really gives them is their actual bread and butter. The regular guys, the regular people on the streets, the mass affluent families, let's not forget about them. Okay, so don't fret that you do not have high net worth clients or don't have a lot of high net worth clients, because I started from there too, right? I was a Xiao Bai also. So then don't be afraid to look at your own clientele base, because perhaps you already have some of these people who are higher net worth already in your backyard, but you have yet to plant the seed. So it's not that you don't have, I would say it's rather more that you did not identify. You did not have a sit-down exercise with yourself to reflect and to identify, and you have not started building relationships with them. Or if you had, maybe not deep enough. So you have to start from somewhere. I too start from there. Yeah.
If you're very new, don't choose your client. My advice is don't choose. Don't always think, wow, estate planning is start, you got big cases coming in. Bullshit. Right? It takes time to build. You must be ready, then your client will give you that money, isn't it? Put your effort in the angle of you really want to help the person first. Put yourself in the angle you want to learn in this area. Don't choose your client. Right? How I started is, I'm a parent myself. You ask yourself this question: if you want to do a will, or you want to do this estate planning, what is your motivating factors that make you want to do? Ask yourself this question, all right? Now, let's say I started with my own estate planning. It's because I have a very young child, which is by that time was only 3 years old or 4 years old. All right? I started having my child quite late, all right? 我是高龄产妇. Okay, doesn't look, it's okay, that's my secret. Right. And I'm sure as a parent, you love your children, you have dreams for your children, isn't it, darling? Right? You always see them, when you become a parent, your child's dream becomes your dream. You no longer have your own dream already, Whatever you do is the children come first. Agree or not? Agree, say yes. Put yes in the chat box now. I want participation. If not, I won't continue. So when I do this, and that was time where MH, the missing of MH370, right? Okay. That was which year? I can't remember. It's somewhere around
2016, I think.
Yes, that was the year that triggered my thoughts that I need to do something. And that was the best year when people rush to do their will, isn't it? Highest number of will cases went up. And that's where I start to think, what do I want for my kids? How do I secure my kids' future if I'm not there for them? Similarly, now if you do yourself first, started, then you start to seek out your client profile, which are the ones that's similar to yours. Then go and share with them. Hey, you know what triggered me to do this? Somebody in the chat group said how you open your conversation, right? This is how I open up my conversation with client. In the chat group just now, somebody was saying, Li Peng or something like that, right? Okay, this is how you actually start the conversation. Li Peng, are you there? Can you give me a yes? Have I answered to your question? Yeah. I take note of your question, but please on your video, if not I won't share more, Li Peng. Okay. And also, then this is how I started. And then slowly, when you share your story to your client will share story with you. 这是很正常的嘛? It's the influence of feeling, isn't it? So somebody just now in the chat box also said, my client get very worried if I uncover their problem. It's not true, my dear. It's because you never share your problem. How would the client want to share their problem with you? You have to share your concern first, then you let the client share the concern with you, isn't it? It's always two-way, not one way. When you talk about estate planning subject, please don't at the back of your mind think, oh, what is the cases I can close him or her? Flung, tweet. Your interview, your conversation is going to be flung. I can tell you honestly. Always in the point of how I can help this customer solve their problem, solve their concern, solve their worry. All right? And this is not about it. I'm not saying how when you do estate planning, every case will turn out to be a big case to insurance cases. All right? Please don't have that kind of expectation. But somehow or rather, you will have a chance to open up insurance cases. I assure you. You just be patient. Patient pays dividend. All right? I give you an example. A lot of them, when they do will or trust or whatsoever, I don't say the technical word will or trust. I just say estate planning. They'll realize that they themselves will realize you don't have to tell them what they have. Their resources is so limited. They will tell you, hey, actually I don't have much. How to fund them if anything happens to them. First of all, your property you cannot sell. And your biggest chunk of assets are property, isn't it? If you cannot sell your property, you want to keep for your children, then where are your other resources of your funds coming to fund your dreams? Right? So they will tell you hey, how to increase this aspect. See, guys, please have patience. Don't let your saliva flow in front of your client and see them. Right? Patience pays dividends. Okay, that's what I want to say. Thank you.
Okay, how about Laura? Maybe you'd like to share with us what other benefits, other than getting to talk to other profile clients, or you have a case study you share that having estate planning as part of your financial advisory business or service.
Yeah. Okay. So actually 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I can't recall. I actually decided to embark on doing a seminar, for my clients. Not my clients, my client actually opened her office for me to come in to speak on estate planning, because I did some estate planning for her and her husband. And she said that, hey, come and speak to my colleagues, and most of them, they were from a fund manager investment company. And that was my first seminar that I actually conducted. So of course, with much fear and trembling, I went in to do it. But I just encourage some of y'all, sometimes we always are fearful of that first step. But I think it's actually the same thing for anything that we do. Sometimes even taking that first step to talk to a client about estate planning, there's always that fear element, right? But when you actually do it the first time, after that, you actually get past a certain level, and then you feel, hey, I've done it before. No, it's not that difficult actually. Right, so I did it for my first time. I did a presentation, and I would say that I felt it was successful, mainly because everybody responded and they really saw the importance that they had to do something about it. So I had about 30 people who attended, and one of the cases after that was that during the sit down Q&A, a lot of questions and answers, and one of the persons there, he was actually my client's ex-boss. And he came up to me. He said, Laura, I've been wanting to do my will for so many years, and this is something that everybody would tell you these days, because actually doing a will takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of mental effort to think about how I want to get started, right? And that's why people don't usually do it, because it's a very big inertia for them. So I see our role as estate planner to actually help to guide them on the journey, to make it a bit easier for them to make certain decisions and help them to think through what are they supposed to do. So this client says, okay, come and meet me come and meet me. So to cut the story short, this particular individual, he's married with 2 young children, and he and the wife are both in the finance industry, which is actually very much my expertise. Most of my clients are actually in the finance industry. So this couple, they're in the early 50s, and I actually sat down with them the first meeting, and I realized that especially when you do estate planning, right? They were not interested in insurance, they were not interested in investments, they just wanted to get their will done. So for about 6 months, because they're really very busy, they hold very high positions in their firms, I went through a full fact find with them. And as all the more so because when you're doing estate planning, it really the clients will see that they need to give you information. Otherwise, I can't really plan for you, right? I want to really make sure I consider a lot of things for you. So I got a full disclosure from them. And this couple has a net worth of about $15 to $20 million. And he's extremely savvy investment. He's got maybe 3 or 4 properties. He's got businesses. He owns a vineyard in some country. And they were very friendly couple. So I took about 6 months for me to help them to put in place their will and their trust, to make sure that if anything happens to them, there won't be too much problems that they're going to pass on to their children. And after that, it was a very great conversation, because this is a very nice couple. And after the settlement of the estate planning, a year later, I managed to, this client I told you, right? They don't want to do any insurance, they don't do any investments. When I was doing through the course of my conversations, I brought up the issue about retirement. Yeah, and of course they can retire; they have more than enough. But through my conversations, I was still able to help them in the area of retirement income planning. Okay, so of course, like Jolene said, my whole intention when I went there was really to help them to settle their main issue. But then when you talk to clients and they start to get connected with you, they start to like you, trust you, that's where there are a lot of opportunities. And I'm thankful because they gave me, a pretty decent size case, and I was able to help them to grow to do some retirement planning for them. And the best part was this year, that was done last year. Then after that, I went back to them asking them for introductions. They referred me to 5 high net worth couples, similar to their profile. And these were couples who they just introduced to me for, in general, financial planning, not just for will writing or estate planning. And I'm thankful because one of the couples this year that I met, I managed to do some financial planning business with them. So it has grown. So what I'm trying to say is that it started from one client that I did estate planning with, but because I was able to bring across my estate planning expertise, I was able to meet this particular client who, if other than that, they may not have wanted to meet me for anything else. So there was an opportunity that was open for me. And after that, I was able to grow my clientele to meet more people like him. Yeah, so I think benefits in terms of estate planning, definitely it gives me a much bigger, broader perspective when I speak to my clients, and they see me more as just helping them with their insurance needs, helping them with their wealth accumulation needs, but they see it more in totality. And I find that really makes me more excited about what I do. So when I talk to clients, I have more to talk about, and I'm able to add more value to them. So that's one of the case studies I feel has really helped me to uncover more needs and grow with them at a deeper level. Yep.
None other than relationship building. I told you, estate planning is like a peeling onion process. Peel the onion. You know what is peel onion, right? You peel slowly. Then your eyes what? Start to tears, isn't it? When you have mastered that stage whereby you slowly peel the onion until the client can actually tears in front of you, you are there already, guys. You are there. Which means to say you must really engage the customer in the emotional part of the conversation. I can tell you honestly, in insurance, I couldn't able to master that when I was doing my insurance sales. But when it comes to estate planning, I learned 3 things: storytelling, questioning, and then emotional selling. These 3, I mastered the best. You will not master instantly, but along the way, you will. So it's the relationship buildings from customers that I enjoy the most throughout this estate planning, which I do not experience it when I was still an insurance advisor. All right. And I love the process whereby actually you build dips, you don't build props, A lot of time when we do insurance business, it's like 一夜情 You know what's 一夜情? Overnight relationship. You call it. But in estate planning is 一世情 You know what? Lifetime relationship. So I always say when I want to come to this estate planning, I want to develop a 一世情 with my client, not 一夜情. I can understand Mandarin now, guys. Can right? Type yes if you can. Hello. Put right. Can. Okay, thank you. I thought my Chinese a bit chim, actually not right. Quite shallow for you to understand. Some people just now mentioned in the group chat, don't know what is Sept. Sept, you're very green, you're a piece of plain paper when you start something new. Alright? Okay, actually just not in the group chat, but I just not in the screensaver, there's this Thomas Tan say something like this, quite interesting, He's a screensaver. He said life would be very boring if it is easy. Thomas Tan, are you there? I saw from your this or what? Yeah, life would be very boring if this is easy, So always pray to God, say that don't make your life easy, make your life interesting. Interesting by always go for hurdle challenge. Each time you cross the hurdle, the challenge is a 1% growth in you, and that's what I enjoy more in this estate planning business. 真的我很喜欢. It's in my blood already. All right, yeah, that's how I experience. It's not the amount of money that you make through the estate planning that changes to the big cases, but it's really you make a significant difference in the person's life. Yeah, this is what I love most. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jolene.
totally concur with what Jolene and Laura mentioned. In fact, a series of small yeses, right, will eventually lead to the big yes. Everybody type in small yes, big yes. Let me relate a case study. So in 2018, I got to meet and was referred to a 72-year-old widow. So she had 4 adult children. So the old widow had this planning. She was thinking about what to do with her en bloc proceeds. So she did not intend to buy any more properties because of her age, and she just wanted a very simple life, just live with one of the children, and even intended to distribute her money to the all children while she is still around. But she was actually stopped by the brother, and so she came to me to seek for a second opinion. So I explained to her, asking a series of questions to understand her current situation. And I structured instruments for her retirement planning and put that into the will. So, 大纲, the helicopter view is that the solutions I created for her was, I created an instrument which generate a monthly retirement income of 2,500 per month for her. Actually, she did not need that much one, but with the proceeds and all, it's sufficient to give her that kind of amount that she's looking at. Then the structure also implemented and helps protect the old lady's interest, because my main aim is to protect her interest in ensuring that the children will continue to be filial to her. I also don't want to, in my best capacity, I don't want next time the child that she's staying with, right, later on the daughter-in-law come out and say that, I don't like your mother anymore, I want her to leave the house. Then she will have no property over her roof. So protecting her interest was my main concern. So I also went on to help her to draft a will. So I even went to fetch her as she had difficulty walking, and she actually came to Precept office to attest her will with 2 walking sticks, not one. She really had problem walking. So, and then after which, right, in late 2018, her number 4 son, 第4个, consulted me to plan his retirement savings for him. And while doing the application and everything, I noticed that the gyro, right, was using joint account with another brother. Let's call the other brother X. Okay, this son number 4 is single. Brother X is married. Okay, so he wants to use this joint account. So I realized this, and I advised him. I say, hey, asking a series of questions. How is your relationship with your sister-in-law? Because the other brother is married, right? So what if your brother X, right, pass on? Will the wife of your brother thinks that the money actually belongs to her? So this will actually help to avoid complications of using joint account. Okay, so this advice, right, is not the key instrument in closing the case, but these are the small yeses that comes along the way in the engagement with clients. Yeah, then later on, right, so of course I believe the clients were very impressed. Then in 2019, son number 3 came to me. He received an inheritance from an uncle who has passed on. So knowing that I understood asset planning and able to give practical advice, her mom asked me to plan again for the son. So with that, I did another investment plan. Then this year in 2021, son number 2 and the wife approached me to help them with investment planning for retirement. So ended up, I did the investment and retirement plans for both the son and the wife. Yeah. So you see, a series of small yeses will eventually lead to the big yes. So this is what I want to convey for this case study.
Actually, if you look at the case, the son number 4, if you're just doing insurance advisory, wouldn't have this discussion on the joint bank account, right? This is the part where actually differentiates you all from the other financial advisors, because you all can see things on a more even broader scale, more deeper scale, yeah. And that's where they come to respect all of you. So then that's the question that I think, Jovin, When you talk about this expert, it's not only experts in the eyes of the clients. Do your actually colleagues see you as an estate planning expert as well?
Yes, definitely. In fact, because I benefited from it as such, training and mentoring the advisors in my team it's really my way of paying it forward. I show them the ropes on how to open and close cases together with my husband, who is a manager. So as different advisors have different levels of learning, hence our trainings are very much on a personalized basis. No choice, have to be personalized because the learning is levels is different. So our focus is mostly on the soft skills, building up the skill sets and knowledge required on estate planning. Like for example, if you don't have the soft skill, you can end up asking questions like a survey, like a robot. Or you can learn how to ask questions to evoke emotions, like what Jolene has mentioned, and press the hot buttons from the clients. So there were many conversations that I had with my clients, right, where the client can really sit down and eventually if it's a referred case, don't know me very well, I'm able to build trust fast. And I break down the gut. I lower down their gut already. And then eventually their tears will flow. So when you can do like that, 你就是成功了. Okay. So sometimes, right, because I also am aware, because of lack of experience perhaps, there may be advisors who don't know how to position, you don't know how to position yourself. So sometimes it is not what you never say that breaks a deal. Sometimes it is what you say that actually breaks a deal. I just learned this from one of my members yesterday, and I want to credit her for it. I also learned this from her. It is not what you never say that breaks a deal. It is what you have said that sometimes actually breaks a deal. So we guide our advisors on what to say, what not to say in front of the client, and position them properly before they go out there and meet their client, so that they have the full confidence that they can bring in the case. Then we want to have a win-win-win, correct? Win for the client. You also must win for yourself, and you must also win for the company. So 3 wins.
This is the part I think those people who are new in the business itself, they are maybe getting as we go along the conversation itself. They also get a bit confused. Maybe we can ask Laura to clarify this thing between referral and practice, because now you all talk like as if like you're practicing estate planning, but there are a lot of people in the market who actually talk about referring. You raise the interest of the client, but then you refer the clients to the professional doing the estate planning. Maybe Laura, you can help us clarify this difference between referral and practicing estate planning.
Our clients, sometimes when I meet them, right, I explain to them that I'm doing estate planning, and then sometimes they do. Nowadays, actually, I think people are more open, because I think Precepts has also done a very good job in opening up. People know a lot more about estate planners. But a lot of them, they feel that, I have a lawyer who can do it for me. And sometimes, I also have other colleagues who say, I'll just refer the business to a lawyer. So I think one of the things that I tell my clients is that, firstly, just like the first case I shared, right, my client who had whose parents were appointed as executors, I don't think they really knew what they were getting themselves into. And also, I think the sister who passed away, the late sister, also probably wasn't advised properly, and that's why the will came out with all kinds of problems. So sometimes I feel that maybe for some lawyers, I won't say all, okay, I'm sure that there are some really, really good ones around, but if I'm going to refer my client to see a lawyer, sometimes I feel that I'm out of the picture completely as their financial planner, and probably because I also have the knowledge as estate planner. I know their family dynamics. I know things that the lawyers may not have the time to find out with them, because we all as practitioners, we have the privilege of spending time to understand our clients' needs, know their families, know the soft facts, right? And that's our privilege as their family advisor. And if I were to refer them out to somebody else, these elements may not be within the conversation of what the lawyer can actually share with them. So if I want to refer the business out to them, I'm not very confident that whether the lawyer will be able to do what they really need. Okay, so one thing is that definitely I feel that I'll lose touch with the clients. I won't have the privilege to sit in. So some other organizations or estate planners, they do allow you to refer, but you may not have the privilege to sit in with the client to understand and to bring out certain points. Hey, your this son, are you sure he's ready to handle this? Or your mom, hey, remember you told me about your sister? Or, we know them more intimately. Yeah, we can ask questions. We can ask financial questions. So from what I know, most lawyers, maybe because they may not be financially trained, they mainly take instructions. They may give certain advice, but they may not have the time to sit down, have a conversation. I mean, just for example, the case that I had with my client and the wife, we spent several meetings. I went to their house, we had coffee, we chatted. It was a very much deeper relationship, which I really enjoy. But that's something that, if you refer it out, you don't get to enjoy it, and your clients may see it more as a transaction. Okay, and then of course, the next part is that for Precepts, one of the biggest advantage I tell my clients is if you engage me and Precepts, when it comes to doing any if executorship, okay, if executorship actually has a very big responsibility as executor, and Precepts, because it's a trust company, right, we are able to be the corporate trustee and corporate executor. And a lot of the wills that I've done with my clients, they have actually seen what I've shared, and they understood, who do you want to engage as executor? Are you sure your spouse is ready to be executor? Or if your spouse is not around, your sister? You sure your sister, your friend? So all these things, a law firm typically does not have the ability to be a corporate executor. Okay, so that is definitely one thing I feel has been a big benefit when I tell my clients to why it's good to do it with Precepts. At the same time, Precepts has given a lot of support in terms of things like custody of your will. If you don't know where to put your will, you put it in a safe, it may get burnt up, right? And then when you're not around, your beneficiaries may not know where the will is, right? But we provide it's a whole one-stop solution. We provide trust services, executor services, and yeah. So I think Precepts, in the sense that I find that it's easier for us to hold the client's hand and walk them through the journey, because a lot of my clients, they have thought about doing their wills for the longest time, but a lot of them don't do it because there's a very big inertia. Yeah, so I think that's the biggest thing. And of course, I will say that Precepts, since I've been here for so many years, our founding, our founder, Mr. Lee Chibi, he's very experienced, and I'm comforted to know that he has legal background. He's legally trained, right? And then we have a big legal team that helps us. So when I do my wills or estate planning with my clients, I have support. It's just not one lawyer that I'm talking to. I have a team of people who can support me, and these are people who are specialized in doing wills, drafting of wills. Excellent team support lah. Yeah, so that's probably one of my biggest the strengths of working with us compared to referring it out to somebody else.
About Jolene? Same also $1,000+. Then how about Jovin?
Same. If they have young kids at home, and you just include a testamentary trust in the will, it's about $1,000+ already.
Wow. Okay. So there's a lot of out there in the market who I give a free will to the client, but that's not what you do, right? You don't give your will for free to the.
Can I add some add on? A lot of ESP always think that our will writing is so expensive compared to the lawyer out there, right? Agree not?
Yeah.
I also had this mental block when I started, to be honest. Yeah, I have this mental block. But now I came to know what will value is not doing simple will. Guys, remember, you want simple will? I always say this, will are very simple, except very simple one. It's the human being that's complex. Do you agree or not?
Yeah.
You may look simple, but you do not know what is the underlying complications there, right now. Why do you think Lee Kuan Yew will stir up so much trouble? He's a lawyer himself. He can write a very good will, isn't it? And all the people who help him to draft are all lawyers. But why he still end up in these things? Ask the question. It's not about writing, darling. It's about planning. And that's why we come in. You know what's the difference about writing and planning? Writing, you can ask, it's like love letter writing, right? Last time people don't know how to write, right? You get people to write letter, right? Will planning is not letter writing, alright? If you go to law firm, they probably just write for you, whatever you say, I write. They never look at your blind spots. Now, will you agree with me that Nothing is more as expensive as not knowing your blind spot. You pay a small price upfront. By the end of the day, somebody will pay a big price at the end. Which one you want, right? If I would rather do a well planning in the front, so that it make it easier when execution comes. Rather than I do a simple one upfront and then you complete the whole matter, then after that go to court, have to fight in court, then wash dirty linen in the public. Isn't it true? There's so many cases happen. It's not whether you write a will or you don't have a will. It's whether you've done your planning. Guys, if you agree with me, say yes. Beautiful face there, beautiful face. You want a beautiful face? How you overcome people say, I just want a simple will. Get it, huh? Simple will make complex things complicated. Complete plan makes complex things simple. I'll type in the chat box later for you. I'll type in the chat box for you, okay? Alright, so this is what I want to share. And also, please, Hank, just like you asked me what kind of clients I do, right? And what kind of cases I do. Initially, when I start, I always thought, wow, will is the solution, cheaper way to solve problem. My mental block. After I come a few, and trust is only for people who has $1 million, then can set up trust. I tell you, it's bullshit. It's bullshit, okay? I want to break the myth here. It's just not about which one cheaper can solve the problem, which one more expensive can solve the problem. It's the problem the client wants. I have 2 cases. I just talk about will. Eventually, client wants standby trust. I got shocked. From there on, I tell myself, don't underestimate clients' needs. And but this client of mine is only 3-room flat. Rumor only, 3-room flat. Okay, why he want or she wants to have this standby trust, despite the fact that her income is not much. It's not much, no. He's just earning about barely maybe 5,000 a month that kind, but his expenses is very high. Her expenses because she needs to support a special needs child, which is staying overseas, cared of by somebody to take care, all right, by the family. So she said, because she have this special needs child, she cannot don't have the mentality of financial savings, intellectual to handle big money. If by doing will, he cannot take care of the insurance and take care of the CPF part, where lump sum will go out. 他不放心的. He also cannot entrust the guardian or whoever that she appoints to manage the money because they know they are not financial savvy. So when we talk about testamentary trust in will that time, this is the part that we can't help to address the CPF and the insurance proceeds payout, right? Then she said, any better way or not? And then I shared with her the standby trust. Yes, I want this one. And my jaw dropped, From there on, I know. Please don't decide for customer what they want. Tell them the solution and which one, let them choose which is the best for them. And don't underestimate the ability of how much they can pay, all right? No. Yes, this kind of mind don't have much. And that's where we are here. We create fund for them, and eventually she bought about 2 mil of the term plans with me. Even though it's just term, it's okay. And she's already at about mid 50, early 50, and she don't mind paying that kind of premium. Can you imagine? And she said all this year, nobody actually highlight to her the importance of this funding that you can do for her. If not, she would have started the coverage earlier. You see, guys, that's what I mean by making a difference to the people that you touch life, you come across with. Don't just think about, high net worth only, can cost universal life or not? Please lah, throw that thoughts away. If you keep holding on that thought, you will never be able to excel in estate planning. I tell you the truth, all right? And you will have the fear when you have conversation with the customer. Right? So this is what I want to say. Don't underestimate the ability of the client's needs. Thank you.
Time management is very important. Okay, so to pick out the basics properly, it takes about a year. You attend the courses. Sometimes with the courses that come in, right, you have a lot of information overload. It may take for some of you, it may take a few months before all these missing puzzles starts to come into place. It takes some time for your mind to process, and after a few trial and errors with client, you have conversation about it, then you realize you make mistakes, you come back, you relearn again, some things that you're not sure you were stuck. You need to come back and relearn, okay? So I would say that it's not like, 2年我就练到武功了. It's not like that one, okay? So it's an ongoing effort. So for me, right, one of the success factor, I would say is I'm really in the environment where I'm constantly with the right group of like-minded people, and in a company which has the training and the know-how and the solutions of estate planning. So apart from that, you also must have the passion, you must have the curiosity, you must have the 爱心, and you also must have the 耐心 for your clients, right? You also 耐心 for yourself. So sometimes don't be too hard on yourself. You look at, if I say you want to do like a 20-80%, to start off with 20% on estate planning, just to learn along the way while you're not forgetting your normal bread and butter. Later your agency leader all come and scold me. What is this, Jovin? Give this kind of nonsense advice. Okay? If you do like 20-80, we are looking about perhaps 3 to 5 years on a part-time basis. Okay? And if you're starting to, like for example, if you're starting to learn tennis, I play tennis with Laura. Laura is my neighbor. So if I like tennis, I learn tennis, wouldn't you agree with me that you want to be with the right group of people who love tennis, enjoy tennis, and just like you want to be better and better every day, and they're happy to practice tennis with you every few other days, right? So I embrace estate planning in every financial planning that I have with clients whenever I can. Okay, but it doesn't mean that every client you must talk about estate planning. Okay, this one you have to. It's just like cooking lah. Okay, pinch of salt. Apply as and when necessary. Yeah, of course, some advisors may get overwhelmed. There's a lot of information. That's why I say you need to be important to be the right group of people and mentor who can support and provide you with the know-how. So at the end of the day, you ask yourself, can you type in the group chat, you want comfort or you want growth?
Right.
I think it's the ongoing trainings and education with Precepts. And over here, we get to hear and learn from different people from different professions also. Sometimes bankers, real estate professionals, fellow practitioners. Then there's a monthly sharing, and we can also make use of the government funding to upgrade our learning. So I think this is good. Then besides, I also realized that Precepts, right, has been providing excellent support over the years. We must also constantly be with the community, right, where we can constantly challenge, do role play, provide sales angles and support for one another with the cases that we have encountered. I also really want to thank Mr. Lee Chi-wei and the team, right, Heng and Annabelle and all the staff in Precepts, right, for having the foresight of recognizing the importance of our role as estate planning professionals. And they have also started various systems like bundle, newsletter, training, support, marketing, slides, etc. to deepen our learning and professionalism. So I think Precepts is on the road of really the journey now, right, is a lot easier compared to 10 years ago.
Definitely like what Jovin shared, I think Precepts has really done a lot for us. I'm really very thankful, and I really say this sincerely because with this virtual environment, right, given that we can't go to office for trainings, Precepts has really adapted very, very fast. So you all have so many trainings, I think every week or every 2 weeks, and if I can't attend the training, I can still go and watch the video, no? So really, really amazing, and I believe Mr. Lee and the whole team, you all have really put in a lot of effort. It really has helped because sometimes, the whole estate planning is a journey. I started off formally in 2008, 2009, but it took me quite a while. And I think, of course, it's small baby steps that we take. But definitely, if all this was in place 10 years ago, maybe I would have been a bit faster lah. So I'm really very thankful. I think the support in terms of not just the equipping, the training, But every now and then, anytime I need help, Heng has been extremely supportive. And also I've also had the privilege to be joining a study group. So every 2 weeks we meet to discuss cases, we discuss our own cases, we discuss questions, we role play. That has really built my confidence. I want to thank Heng for that, the team, the Alpha team. This small study group gives us the experience to share experiences. It kind of helps to shorten the learning curve and very, very real practical ideas. So I'm thankful that Precepts is like a community, started for so many years, but the foresight from the management is there. You can see that even the launching of the new Provi Trust. So for those of you who are not aware, Precepts has just launched a new product that is to help our clients to distribute their CPF monies through a trust. Okay, but it's a very, very cost-effective method to do it, and clients can just sign up for this trust just for distribution of their CPF monies. Otherwise, the monies will go 100% to their beneficiaries. So I think this is really foresight, and with all the seminars, webinars, that's the kind of support I think I'm very, very thankful for. Yeah.
Don't learn too much until you are overwhelmed and you're freeze until you don't know how to practice. My way is like this. If I learn one example, TT, I will list down who actually suitable for this kind of structure or this type of planning. And from your client base or whoever has this kind, as an example, my case, young children, I will sift out who is the client has young children, especially below 10 months, below 10. Then go and share with them. Practice a few cases, come back, then learn other thing. Then you meet single professional, I tell you, will is not their pain. It's lasting power underneath. LPA. And you don't do LPA 1 for heaven's sake. They need LPA 2. A lot of single professionals, what hold them back in their planning is they cannot find a donor that can take care of the financial and property aspect. I tell you, it's easy to get someone to make decisions for you for your well-being. Can you that person accountable for the money spent? Don't you think you put them in a very unfair disadvantage? Where, wow, who are you? You meddled with my sister, my whoever money. Right now, guys, agree? Say yes, you agree? If you are single here, your pain point is not very real. Who cares? You die. They always say, I can just give it anywhere. But don't you concern if one day you are single, you are dementia, you are what? Who's going to take care of you? So I'm very thankful that this Precept has made a conscientious efforts to help in this area by tying up with professional donors like Touch Community. All right, it has really helped to solve a lot of singles problem. Guys, let me tell you, estate planning is not just revolved around will and trust, but this aspect also. You need to know about LPA2, how it works. You need to know about ACP, how it works, okay? Having an LPA without ACP is also tricky because your donor don't even know what you want, how to make decisions for you, okay? So take one step at a time, learn one thing, go practice. Meet another case, come back, practice, go and practice. Always look for people who you can talk to after you learn certain things. If not, your knowledge will disappear in no time. This is how my advice to you is, guys. If you really want to step into it, as you practice, you have more fun. Don't be so stressed out, just have fun, all right? Remember to laugh yourself out if you make certain mistakes. Okay, that's it. Good job, good job. Good try. Try again, all right? Don't die one. Okay, then a lot of people say, yes, if I advise wrongly, then the customer write the will wrongly, then how? Why you worried? Redo lor. It's not cast and stone. 人还在嘛, haven't died yet, right? So always go back and review your client. If need be, give them a complimentary amendment. If you can afford, if they buy a certain policy for you, isn't it? Right now, wouldn't die what? Okay? So let's say if the client said, must always rewrite, then okay lor. How about I give you something that you can rewrite anytime you want without any charges one. That's where you introduce your step by trust, the matter of wishes. Okay, that's how you spin your client. Right? Be creative, be interesting, be exciting about your estate planning journey, and then you have fun. You will do well in this. All right. You see, I very enjoy, right? I don't stress. I don't prepare any of my script today. I just speak of my class, speak of my experience with you guys. This is how I spin off my estate planning. I don't want to hold back by all this technicality, the legal jargon. And in fact, I talk to client, I don't talk about legal jargon, right?
This last, these are one of the things that I like to do to our estate planner, is to push them back to the 小白 feeling. Right, okay, so I'm going to ask them the 小白 question, what will make them become another 小白? So actually, what are your personal expectations for all your three of you? That how far do you think you can go and you like to go actually? So yeah, we start with Laura first. Laura?
To be honest, I really just want to help as many of my clients as I can. And that also, of course, the fastest way would also be to be able to do it through webinars. So I hope to be able to do more webinars. I've done one last year, but I haven't really done any this year. So I want to be able to spread the importance of estate planning to as many people as I can. Yep. And of course, through sessions like this is also to inspire other practitioners to take up this I'll say challenge, right? It's not something that's easy to do, but when we do take it up and we see that the value behind it is helping to make a difference in our clients' lives, then there is a lot more purpose to what we're doing. And probably that's why for me I'm enjoying it, because it's part of the passion of helping our clients. Yeah, of course, writing articles, if that's also one way of getting out to, through social media, writing blogs or articles to reach out to clients, because sometimes they don't hear it until they read it or they see it, and then that probably helps try to stir them a little bit to take some action. Yeah.
Jovin, what will be your dream?
I have a dream. If a dream doesn't scare you, it is not a good dream. So in fact, I have already started building it last year. I want to create a legacy by building my own team of like-minded practitioners. And one day when I am no longer around, I want my kids and family to be reminded of all the good work that I've done for our clients. And I want to inspire all the fellow colleagues and co-workers who have been under my mentorship to feel really very proud of the good things they have done for their clients. So this is my dream.
Next, you have Jolene. Jolene, what will be your next stage of development?
Next stage of development, of course, is to help as many as I can. But I tell you, I have a mission when I start my estate planning journey, because I have came across cases that so much unfortunate cases out there, where the victims are actually suffer in silence, are mainly children, the kids, and the old, the young, the old, I call it, and the vulnerable one. All right. So my mission is to be their voice and protect their wealth rights, because they do not know what their rights is. Their rights they have, So I see so many cases happen out there. If only a right plans in place, this could have salvaged the mess. I always ask my clients this question: if you given a choice, would you rather leave a mess or a bless? Which do you prefer?
Other with questions, yeah. And we really appreciate, because when you have a lot of questions, means that you are very engaged. And this is a point where we can all also learn. Right, and I'll be looking at some of the questions itself. It's a bit too very, very extensive so it may take very, very long time, but we will pick some of the questions, not all the questions. Right, can you share the flow of the fact find? I think that is a very, very intensive question, so we're really sorry we have to miss this question. And what are things that we should not say? Maybe you can give some examples of what are things you should not say in front of the clients. Maybe one or two examples. Jovin, as a director.
What are things not to say?
Just one or two examples. Example that you say on the case of 3-1. fan?
Don't be too quick to give solutions, because I find that a lot of times, right, advisors are their mind is only about solutions, what solutions to give them. Then they are very, very eager. They'll tell the client upfront the solutions. But your client has not felt understand and they have not felt understood yet, you know. So the solution should be the last of all things, right? That you should be telling them. It's not important. You can find them. The solutions are not that important. As long as they can meet the concern of the client, it's a good solution already. But bring it at the back first. The front part should be you need to make the client feel understood. There are a lot more techniques, but I can't share because of the time constraint. But if you are keen, you want to know more, then perhaps a next sharing, or you can text me.
Maybe the next question I pose to Laura then, average number of sessions to complete estate planning for a client?
So I think it really depends on the clients, whether they are able to make certain decisions yet. So what I try to do is I usually discuss over Zoom right now, or during our review we have certain discussions, and then I give them certain things to think about. Once they're ready to engage, then the questions are more or less there for them to think about. So once they're ready with the answers, then we actually do the formal instruction taking. So I think there isn't like a fixed number of sessions. Of course, when I did the one last year, that one took a bit longer because they had many different concerns. So I think that one took an average of maybe face-to-face was about 2 or 3 sessions. The rest of it was all communication through WhatsApp. Yeah, in fact, face-to-face maybe only 2. Yeah, the rest of it was communication, WhatsApp, on the phone, emailing and stuff like that. So not that many face-to-face sessions. Of course, the last final session will be the attestation of the will at Precepts office.
Okay. How about maybe I can ask Jolene, on average, what's the number of sessions you take to complete estate planning?
I tell you, in the beginning, it's a lot of legwork. I prepare you first 4 or 5 times. At least 5 above beginning, but slowly I trim down to about 1 or 2 or 3, max 3. Because in the initial sessions with client, you more or less can size them out whether they are interested or not already, whether the needs are there. And then you quickly test out by a draft close by asking for deposit. If they're reluctant to, this is group B client. Then you just follow up one more time, or 3rd time, and that's it, you let go. Right? You have many more. I tell you, in estate planning, the fish is plenty. No need to hang on to one. Okay? As I said, if the customer, after you try already, still think that a simple will is enough for them, let go. Don't pull quick. Okay? Let them go. What you want is do quality work. You want to work with quality people. You want to work with people who trust you, appreciate your advice, and this is the clients that I want to build, right? After talking, tell the price, still think, okay lah. There are people who 喜欢菜市场买东西的嘛 right now. Go to market and buy things. Some people like to go fair price extra. Some people like to go cold storage. You must distinguish your category of clients that you want, isn't it? Not everybody is your client. So learn to let go and look for new ones. You'll be very happy. It's not because you don't want them. They don't want you, it's you don't want them. You choose them, not they choose you. Okay? Thank you.
Sorry. The next question we have is that, is there a catchphrase that, where you open up the estate planning? Maybe you can have Jovin share about that. Do you have a catchphrase?
I don't have a catchphrase. Mine is very free flow one. I see the case, I listen to the client. But first of all, the client, there must be a case to do . Okay. There must be a real concern. Then I rather than catchphrase, I'm more asking about a series of right questions to get the client to think and to answer, rather than me telling them what to do or what they should do. So this is a technique.
How about Laura? You want to any inputs on that?
I don't have any catchphrase, but I think through the conversation with the clients, knowing when you talk to them, finding out their financial positions and asking questions, like Jovin shared, asking questions about the soft spots, things that matter to them. And then when after talking, and then if I discover that there's some areas that very simply, like a lot of my clients are young with young children. So the most common topic is that are you aware that because I asked them, have you done your will, right? And most of them, even if they have done their will, it's just split, how many percent to the children. So I bring out the point where, just like yesterday, I had a conversation with a client, and she was just talking about her son not being able to manage. She doesn't foresee him being able to manage money because he's 19 years old, and he really started investing in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. I got shocked. I was like, 19 years old, how are they even able to do that? So she was saying that I'm worried for my boy because he's not so matured, and if anything happens to me, right, I don't know whether he can handle money or not. So that was a great opportunity for me to bring it up. I said, hey, by the way, so, client, and she just recently divorced. I said, have you actually thought about doing a will? Oh yeah, I've done mine already. So I brought up the point about, okay, just to find out from you, if because you're sharing about your son's, concern. It's a very common concern with all your assets right now. If anything happens to you, you're leaving half to him and half to your daughter. So are you aware that when they reach 21, he's going to get that lump sum money, one lump sum? So she was actually dumbfounded for quite a while. She was looking at me and she was like, she gave me that look like, oh, she didn't think about it. Yeah, so I think sometimes it's not just a 开场白. Okay, that's a new word I learned. It's really about identifying the need of the client at a point of time and asking them pointed questions. And then when she asked me, she was like, oh, yeah. Then she really didn't think about it. So you see, they've written with lawyers, right? But the lawyers apparently didn't advise her to do anything about it. Yeah, so that's usually how I enter to talk further about talking about the will and estate planning. Yeah.
This new thing is really tricky. All right, but the renovation is okay. I think there's always this question about cost. I maybe rephrase this question about cost of wills and trust. The client straight away say how much you cost. I want to do business. I think also Jolene just now briefly really answered part of the question. Hey, choose your client. If your client is very sensitive about cost, then there's always the bigger fish, right? Jovin, do you have any things to add about that?
On the cost, I assess the client. If sometimes I do come across cases that is really very, very simple. It's really like that, and for the short term, so I will do the will side at my company side. But more often than not, I will explain to them that this will and trust planning, right? You can go to a lawyer to do, but lawyers, remember, they are legally trained. They are not financially trained. My role comes before your will gets drafted. So wouldn't you think that this is when it come to a lump sum distribution of your wealth? Don't you think? Wouldn't you agree with me that this is something that you should be careful about?
Okay. There are some technical questions about do we declare ESP business in MAS and new declaration? Maybe that one I'll just is as a financial advisor, usually we recommend you all to declare. And that's the thing. Let me answer that question. What is the roadmap with Precepts? That one later, Annabelle, for those people who are new to PreceptsGroup, please stay back for maybe 20-30 minutes, and Annabelle will be sharing more about that. Yeah.
And can I just add on about just now how we 开场白?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, you can ask your client this. What do you think is the difference between the value of the assets we have today versus the value of the assets that your parents or grandparents have 20 years ago? How much does the HDB cost 20-30 years ago versus today's value of the property? You know the difference really right now. In the past, how different are human being mind? Is it more simple in the past or more complicated now? Do you agree now? Agree, right? So why is it last time a will can solve a lot of problems? Because people are simple. You come from big family, Does a sibling quarrel over small little things? No, right? simple because our educational level was not that high. 全部都是 very closely knit. And our parents also don't have a lot of money to leave behind. What's there to fight? Right now? What's there to write? Even there is the right, they want to write a will, a simple will, just distribute everybody. It's simple. It's really simple in the past. But today, friend, if you no longer around, how much are you leaving behind? Average CPF 500,000. Average insurance 500,000. How much already? You are worth, average Singaporean at least worth 1 million and above. Agree not? Say 1 mil, 1 M. Okay? Then you see 1 M at 65. You also can accumulate your CPF up to 1 million, you know, when you go on. Do you feel good? And 你放心吗? 你放心吗? If you leave everything just at one go to your children, your family, just like that. Alright? So if they think they're okay, then let them be long. If they think they're not okay, then they will tell you. That's from your conversation, you spin off that way. Okay, I give you a very good tips already. You like these tips or not? Say yes. Alright? Hey guys, you are gonna you steal a lot of golden nuggets from me. This is all the hard knocks that I have and I learned along the way. Okay, and I paved the way for you. It's so smooth that you can start your journey easily. Not like me, when I initially started, right? So you're very lucky you're here today. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, there's this very interesting question. What is the most difficult part of our estate planning for a newbie that should be prepared for? Maybe the question, Laura, newbie.
Which question is it? Sorry.
It's not on the screen. It's slightly further down in the Slido. Okay. This Jacqueline asks, what is the most difficult part of estate planning that a newbie should be prepared for?
Definitely the learning curve is steep. You need to have the mind to want to learn. That's a given lah. Okay, when we all first started in as an advisor, right? I'm sure it was also a steep learning curve. A lot of new things, a lot of new concepts, a lot of I took quite some time to even understand what I trust was. Okay, and that took me some time. So definitely getting your mind around certain things, attending webinars, reading up. So of course, those who are really very new as an advisor, I'm not quite sure whether this will be the best time for you to do it. I mean, that's my honest opinion because it's really a lot and it depends where your focus is. I think, this is something which you really need a lot of time to put in to really learn. One of the fastest way I think you can learn, right, is if you have yet to do your will, right, go and do your own will first. Yeah, so I was my own client, first client, and I think that really, really helped because it helps you to think through the whole process. What are the thought process that you need to think through? What do you need to do? So when your clients go through it, right, firstly you can tell them, I've already done my will. I've already done this. This is what I've been doing and why. You can actually justify the reasons because you've done your homework, you've done your research. So that will be the first suggestion I give to you lah. Start with your own first, your own family. Discuss certain things, and then when you have questions, you can approach Precepts for help, right? Rather than a client asking you and then that you may fumble. So fumble yourself first if you have not done it yet. Yeah, so it will take a while, but with the kind of support that you have now, it will be much faster than when I first started. Yep.
Sorry about the mute again. Right, there's also a question, how do you increase the sense of urgency for clients to do estate planning? Not sure whether Jovin or Jolene, you would like to answer that question.
If you want to have that sense of urgency, you must illustrate the pain point a lot. Okay, the reason why I realized that client give you objections on the price of this is because you have not stirred the shit enough. Alright? They are not pain enough to see the problem that they have. That's why they keep angering and your will so expensive, no. But when you hit the nail on the hard button and you have pain there enough, fear enough, they will want to do it fast. And they will want. Slowly, surely you will learn. Okay, in the beginning, I also like, I don't know. But slowly you learn 经一事长一智 you get what I mean in Chinese? You grow along the way. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Jovin, you have anything to add? If not, we can go to the next question.
understanding the client's hot buttons. Because I don't just take what the client say at face value. Sometimes you need to probe, use different angles to find out certain things. Okay, I can share with you very briefly about this friend. Okay, he's no longer around really. Okay, he had a condition. He had cancer, and he's at the time I met him in the hospital, I knew that he's probably not going to last very long. And then the question about will came up. I asked him, so have you actually done a will? He told me no. So I asked, why is it that you haven't done a will? Then he shared that, it's because his parents-in-law are very pangtang. His wife may not like the idea, because when you say you want to do will means that you're going to pass on and things like that, right? But then later on, slowly as we engage in other conversations, then she suddenly revealed this to me. She said, actually, it's not because of the reasons. It's because they found out that I had an affair outside. And then when I had a claim for the cancer, right, they demanded that I pass this insurance proceeds and give it to them. So 我很不甘愿, I don't want to do will. So you see, by probing and asking the right questions, you don't just take one thing, one reason they give at face value. Sometimes there could be a deeper meaning. They never tell you only. So it's about understanding perspective. Like sometimes, right, when 90% or more than 90% of the times, right, we use messages, we type and communicate with clients. Do spend a bit of effort, read again what you are typing, and think about the other person's perspective. How would they feel when they read your message? Is it like very curt, like very blunt? You sound like a bit rude. So it's good to include emoticons and things like that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, this part I sway a bit lah, but this is increasing the sense of urgency. Sometimes you can't really rush. The client needs also time to think about it. But asking a series of right questions and uncovering the hot buttons will help to speed up the process.
All right. Okay, this is a quick answer. I answered the question. Speaker says that charge $1,000 fee. It's actually a will writing fee. That itself is a fee. Yeah. Our Precepts has a structure where the estate planner will actually receive a commission out of that fee that is written. Yeah. So that is the structure itself. How the fee structure is covered in the component after the sharing. Yeah. Right. I think a lot of the questions are very similar. So I think we got most of the questions. Again, any questions about the structures of the precepts, and we will cover it in the later part of it. I think there's also a question for the two panelists. The panelists, what are the key mistakes? Maybe we just for the time's sake wise, what are the key mistakes? One key mistakes from each of maybe Laura itself. What do you think is one of the key mistakes you learned from?
Key mistakes.
Trying to do it alone. At the start,
I think don't put too much pressure on yourself, especially when you're starting out. Recognize that I won't say the mistake I've made, but I think over the years, it's something that if you're planning to embark on it, firstly don't see this as your key to hitting your whatever target you want to hit, because once you have that mindset, right, you might be disappointed, because firstly this is a long journey, and if you suddenly want to embark on this new thing and you hope that this will bring you high net worth and fantastic sales, you might be disappointed lah. Okay, it is definitely a journey, and I think the whole purpose behind it has to be right from the start. You want to adopt these new skill sets because you want to add value to your clients, you want to make a difference to them. The subsequent success it should be a natural process lah. If you are really focused on helping the clients and really solving their problems, whatever happens after that is a natural process. So don't focus on the end result, focus on really wanting to acquire sufficient skills to add value. right? And don't be so hung up on, wow, I'm very stressed, I don't know how to do it, because there's support here. I guess I want to just take this time to also recognize Joy. Joy is, I think she's in this group. I really want to thank Joy, because in the earlier years, when I was first trying to start out to get the hang of certain things, right, before Precepts came out with a lot of these educational stuff to help us, I was asking her questions quite often. So I really want to thank her, because if not for her, I think a lot of questions that I had may have gone unanswered. So reach out to people, reach out to us. I'm if you talk about Xiao Pai, I'm probably the most Xiao Pai here, okay, but I think a lot of us are willing to share our journey, share our experiences. So just reach out and ask, and then Precepts is always there to really support us. So that'll be my last advice.
Okay, due to time wise, we have to almost end. I understand some of you like to open the mic and then ask one question. So not sure whether maybe you can just take one or two questions from opening mic rather than just on the Slido. Any one of you like to ask any of the panelists?
Hey, before you end it, can I have a request from the audience that can you just type in the chat box what is your biggest takeaway today? Not more than 5 words. Biggest takeaway. Not more than 5 words. Please, we want to know how much value we have given you in order for us to plan for our future sharing. Is this something that you look for, or what's next for you that we can add value to you, right? Now, not always 3 of us. I'm sure in the a team of ESP, there are also other people who are good in other area, and this will help Heng to plan out more this kind of sharing for you. Right, Heng?
Yes.
Thank you. Because in the chat, a lot of people are saying that how they can have more this kind of learning with the experienced ESP. So we also don't know what you need. But today, just let us know what is the value and greatest takeaway you have. Not more than 5 words.
Soft skill. Yeah, put inside the Slido, that will be best. What is the biggest takeaway? Unlock new possibility. How to start enlightening. Okay. I think for me, I was like, I learned Xiao Pai. Wow, this is very good. Okay, so keen to learn more about estate planning. Hit the pain points. Yeah, hot button, very important. Right, peeling the onions. Learn how to peel the onions. Yeah, okay. Passions. Yeah. Walk away from cheap wheels. Be part of support groups. We have a lot of support groups. So in Precepts itself, we have a lot of support groups. So for those people who can commit, can always, after attending our educational classes, can also join all the support groups. Right, storytelling. Okay. Okay, that's a very good ending part of it. The biggest takeaway for all of you. Right, we hope that you enjoyed today's session itself. These 3 ladies have been fantastic and very, very generous in their sharing. Of course, there are a lot of detailed questions you have to like to ask, right? Like how to get started and all this. Please do stay back for a while. And in the meantime, let's put our hands together for all the 3 ladies, right? Thank you them for really this sharing that we hope that makes a difference to 2021 and also 2022. Right, the journey is when you start, like Laura, she started a journey in 2009, and then only in the recent years when she find that estate planning is quite key. While Jolene itself, she actually went to the MDRT convention in 2016, right, then came back 2017 and never looked back. And Jovin itself, after also many years of MDRT, then decided to take, I think also is 2016, right? 2017, before really embarking this whole journey. In the meantime, they gave Precepts the feedback to how to improve ourselves. And I hope that you all have a better idea of what estate planning is about, as well as how estate planning can really help your financial advisory business. Right. So thank you everyone for coming to today's session itself. Then we shall end the session right now. Right. And or the speakers like to have all the one last word for all our speakers. Say goodbye. Jovin.
Hope everybody enjoyed the session. It's
Right.
really we share from our heart, and we hope that everybody will be able to excel, support one another, encourage one another. Yeah. So meantime, stay safe as well.
They say yeah. Laura.
For me, I think look at this estate planning as a really opportunity for you to touch more lives and to make a difference. So of course the journey is not going to be easy, but with the support of Precepts, let's press on and let's run this together.
Jolene.
Okay, now that Profit Trust is launching, I feel that you all should learn this. It's very easy. I already done my case, okay, with one of the clients after done the will. In the past, we don't have this solution for a client, but today we have. Okay, now CPF has a lot of money inside, truly. If you don't do this planning, if one lump sum paid to your beneficiary, it's going to be 3 fragmented, okay? So if your client, go back to your client who has done a will with you, or done with even lawyers, okay, fine, just tell them, curious them. This is a very good opening conversation for you, guys, you don't tap on this. Just tell them, hey, how do you feel? I'm sure your CPF money got. Hey, Heng, you got one news about Singaporean has how much 500 came inside, right? The CPF.
Yeah.
Yeah, use that article. Hey, you feel ease or not? If let's say your money all go one lump sum to your young ones, do you think your children will ever get this money? Just curious. When you're in front of your client, you must know how to be actor or actress. Be natural, okay? Share with them how you feel about yourself. Then you transpire the feeling to the client. Hey, if I have this money, I'm so worried.
最佳演绎奖是你的。
Yeah.
还有
This is how I just have fun, I just have fun. I want to test out how people feeling, the feeling of the human being.
All right.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is what I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah. Again, Jolene doesn't say, she demonstrate. Every time she doesn't say, she demonstrate. All right. Thank you everyone for being part of today's session again. We hope to see you at this our EP forum, which is the CPF forum. And we have a lot of very good speakers, and a number of our APP advanced module lecturers are also speaking as well. So we thank you everyone, and thank all our ESPs who has been supporting, and hope that this is also a very good learning experience for our ESP as well.
Thank you, ladies. I think it has been a very insightful and inspiring morning. I hope that all of you will have learned one key takeaway that you gradually make use of in your own business. Right, so I'm gonna be sharing about Precepts Journey. I think a lot of you have been asking what's the roadmap, what are the kind of courses that we have, and what are the courses that leads to a certification, and what are the courses that leads me to be an estate planner. So in this slide, you can see that it actually summarizes that, okay? A Precepts Journey, you have two objectives. Either you want to gain further knowledge that leads to a certification, or you would like to be a practitioner, like the 3 ladies here today. Okay, so for all the 3 ladies, they actually started by going for our courses first, gaining knowledge in estate planning before they decided, hey, this is a viable business arm that I would like to introduce to my clients as well. That was when they decided to join us as an estate planner. Like they were mentioning 2018, 2016, 2009. So those were the times that they started to be an estate planner. All right, so you look over here. Number 1 is the estate planning wills and trust course. So this is IBF funded, where you only need to pay till end of this year $136. Okay, so if you're keen to learn more about wills and trusts, this is the minimal that you should go for, because it only costs you $136 with IBF funding. Okay, this is to build your knowledge base in estate planning when it comes to wills and trust services. So the APP range of courses, you heard Jovin mention that earlier, that because of the mentorship that she had with Alan Wong, she was able to not only further her knowledge in APP, gain a designation, a certification, and she was able to value add her clients, and they saw her in a different way. Okay? And then finally, the estate planner, where you become a specialist and you are extending your services beyond your current financial advisory business. It means that you're actually adding on estate planning solutions as well. Okay, so this is the summary of where you can go for. So you can go for either just 1 and K or 1 and 2. So if you go for 1 first, as mentioned, it's $800 cost fee. But because of IBF funding that gives you 90% from now to December, you only pay a net fee of $186. So in this 3-day course, this will be the topics that we'll be going through, and then it will be conducted over Zoom. So all you need to do is to be turning on your video cam as a proof of your attendance. Okay, and then the next course that we can go for is the APP range. So if we compare side by side, because we do get a lot of questions in this area as to, Precepts, you have a lot of courses, so what does each course do? Can I actually have a breakdown? Okay, so here's the breakdown. If you go for our estate planning course, do bear in mind these 2 courses is on education. It will be to boost your knowledge and build specialized knowledge. So the difference here is the APP range for the certification program that we have. It gives you a destination for the APP, Associate Estate Planning Practitioner. It gives you an introduction to various estate planning topics as compared to the 3-day course that deep dives into wills and trusts. Okay, both are IBF funded, so the net fee here is $136. For here, because you have to pay the designation fee, which is a one-time payment, it gives you a lifetime designation. It's $471.50. Okay, again, all this is till December this year. Next year, IBF will reduce the IBF funding to 80% for those below 40 years old, or rather 39 and below. So 3-day course versus 2-day course. If you stop here, you'll be on a referral program where if you have any clients who wishes to do wills, trust, LPA, that sort of services, you can refer to Precepts. Precepts will get you in touch with an estate planner. And in this case, the estate planner will be a non-financial advisor. Okay, so that there is no conflict of interest when our estate planner meets your client together with you. So we're very wary of that because we do not want to recommend an estate planner who's also a financial advisor that could affect the financial relationship. Okay, so because there is a designation here under the AAPP range, there is a 1.5 hour exam at the end of the 2nd day. Alright, so this is 1 and K. So when we go on the knowledge route, beyond the certification program, which I just mentioned, with cost 471, we have a whole other range of courses as well. So you may think, wow, so many courses, which should I go for, right? So it really depends on what is your interest. It also looks at who are your clientele base. So if you're a clientele base who owns properties and you'd like to help them to manage them and how to distribute them, they go for the one in orange and the one here. Okay, so these 2 courses addresses on that. And if you have clients who are business owners who run family business, they go for the green course. And if they are family, they are business owners, they are not related, then go for the blue one. And if you are looking to penetrate into the high net worth market, either you looking to penetrate or you already have high net worth clients that you would like to do planning for, then you can go for this course, the white one. And this same course has just launched a part 2 as well, where they're going to focus on the solutions when it comes to high net worth clients. Okay, so if you'd like to find out more, please scan the QR code here or just go to our website. The brochures are all attached on our website. So now we go into being an estate planner. One of you was asking me earlier that, what are the differences between our courses versus the other courses that you take outside? First and foremost, you remember just now, I think Jovin was the one that was sharing They said that when she went for, Jolene, she said when she first attended estate planning courses, it was a lot of technical jargons and they were very legal in nature. And she ended up being more confused than being more clear after attending the course. So for our courses that you see that we have, right, it is all conducted by practitioners. So people like you who are actually client facing. So you need not be worried that our courses are too technical, because they want you to focus on how you can help the clients and how you can do that via estate planning tools. Okay? So if you are keen to be our estate planner, just like Jovin, Jolene, and Laura, okay, then you can join us as an estate planner. We give you a platform that you could make use of, and then we support you for time. And then this is a further 2-day onboarding that we have to go through, where we'll go hands-on with case studies, and then we teach you how to use the e-wills instructions form. And then on the second day, we'll go through trust products, marketing, and an exam. Okay, exam here is 50 plus MCQ questions per book. Okay, so do take note, if you go to our 3-day course first, you can do that and then decide within 3 months if you want to add this as part of your service reach by onboarding Precepts. Okay, so how much is it? Okay, I think this is a question you will want to find out. If you want to be onboarded with Precepts, how much do you need to pay? Do take note, it is always a part 1, which is the 3-day course, which is IBF funded, 136. If you want to onboard with us later, do that within 3 months. Depending on the company you belong to and the number of years, then this is the additional top-up. Okay, so B2B partners, namely these 4 companies, you'll be able to onboard with us at a slightly lower fee. The slight difference here, 2 in particular, is number 1, you're not able to hold a Precepts card. Number 2 is the commissions are payable to your financial institution before it's payable to you. So in September, 1st September, we are launching this promotion. I thought I'd let all of you know that with the license fee you saw earlier, which ranges from, let's go take a look, 693.41185 to 2705, 5 years, we are now having a promotion that embeds vouchers within our license itself, and there's no additional fees to it. So what are these vouchers? You know, a lot of people, they will like encourage their clients to write a will with them, but then when they, clients are probably price sensitive, and then they were like thinking, why should I do it with you? Why not with others? And after you have gone over that price war, right, where you show the value, and they no longer see the price, they see the value more than the price, you are able to reward them further by allowing them to have this voucher to reduce the price of the will. Okay, so this is the same price, the top up 907.4 to 2007, which is for public. Okay, if you're not from these 4 companies. If you sign for a 3-year license or a 5-year license, you will be getting a voucher. So what's the value of the voucher? 4 pieces of $200. So you can spread the word around, spread a good word about what you can do for them, and let your clients be entitled to this discount as well. So end up, you'll only be putting aside $700 for a 3-year license, or $705 for a 5-year license. Okay, so do note that we do not give the vouchers for 2-year license. What we're trying to encourage is people to sign on longer with us and to make use of this voucher to spread the word around their family or clients. Okay, so just there are some of you who might be interested to say, hey, you know what, I've decided I'd like to join you right away. I don't need to go part 1 first before I decide whether I'll go part 2. The difference is the total value here versus 136 plus 907, there is a reduction of $30 overall here. Okay, because we only need to courier the materials to you once instead of twice. Okay, so some admin fee here. So there's a reduction of $30. The vouchers still apply. So there are some benefits of being our estate planner if the 3 ladies were not clear enough, there were some key points that we have. I'll only be showing you some of them. Firstly, if not done your own wills, perhaps this is a good time to consider that. Make yourself a user and a client of your own will first. Go through the hard knocks, and then after that, a lot of our estate planners actually make use of their own will as an explanation to their clients of what they have done. Okay, so we want to reward you by when you join us to do your own wills and trust, and we give you a discount. Some of you were asking about the $1,000 that the three ladies mentioned. Basically, for our wills, they follow a transparent fee structure. So after the will is completed, there is a fee sharing model. Okay, so 50% will be paid, then so on and so forth. So what is the difference here is you'll be actually building an additional income stream on top of your financial advisory business. And not only one income stream, you're adding 3 income streams in total. So when the client takes up the service, there is an immediate stream to you. And the client appoints Precepts to be the corporate executor or trustee, there is a deferred stream of income when Precepts come in, when the client passes away, and round up all the assets of the client. Precepts charge a fee. From that fee, we'll give you a 20% fee sharing model as well. And if the client sets up a trust and it is active immediately, or if the client passes away, the assets are brought in, there is also a 20% payable. Okay, so for how long? If the trust is over 20 years, then you'll be having a recurring commission here for the next 20 years. Okay. Our services are all under one roof. We are probably the only firm in Singapore that does all of these services under one roof. So you need not go to different firms to do the same thing for you. So this brings convenience to you as well as to your client. What we're trying to do is to complete your advisory business beyond creation, protection, and automation. We're trying to give you more tools to value add your clients in terms of your wealth distribution, and they could do it through you. Okay, so in the current landscape where you are right in the middle and you have to work with different entities to solve the problems of your client, what we are proposing is just work with one entity, Precepts, and we will support you, and you could be seen as the go-to advisor when it comes to anything estate planning. Okay. You've heard Laura share about all the ongoing classes that we have. This is just a snapshot of what we have. So this is an example of the essential sharing that we hold on a monthly basis. We get speakers to come on board to share about particular topics. So for this month, we wanted a topic to appeal to financial advisors, and we made it public for this round. If not, we're actually having this kind of sharing on a monthly basis. And for our estate planners, all of such recordings will be recorded, and you have access to these recordings for your own viewing. Okay, so in summary, I have shared about our Precepts Journey. We have the practitioner route, we also have the knowledge route. So minimally, I would encourage all of you to go for estate planning wills and trust course first, and then you can decide whether you would like to gain further knowledge or you would like to be a practitioner yourself. Okay, so this is a snapshot of the comparison of the 3 types of routes we have. So I put this orange alphabets here to give you an analogy of what this is like when it comes to your insurance learning. So when you first join financial advisory business, you actually need to learn M5 and M9 because you actually learn about the legal, technical jargons of insurance, and M9 will show you what the different types of insurance products are. So the wills and trust course is something like that, where we share with you what are the solutions. Okay, the AAPP certification program, it is like you going for an AFP or AFC certificate, where you can then add these credentials into your income. And finally, if you would like to provide the health insurance solutions or personal and commercial insurance solutions to your clients, then the prerequisites for you to do that in your advisory business is you take HI, PGI, and CGI first. So over here, you need to join us as a estate planner before you'll be directly exposed to our trainings, to our commission schedule, to our platform. Okay, so with that, this is my last slide. If you'd like to get in touch with me, this is my mobile number on the left. My my email is here. If you'd like to register for our courses, please scan this QR code in the middle. It will give you all of the information that I shared with you earlier when it comes to the estate planning, wills and trust practitioner range. And you are keen to just further your knowledge in our AAPB range of courses, then go for it. Okay, with that, that's all for my sharing. And thank you for spending your cold morning with us this morning. And if you have any question, you could either type in the chat right now or just get in touch with us directly.